All right, series of telling this muscle talk was stacked, literally in both ways, with talent and with muscle. Holy shit! So we got Delarosa, Phil Clahar, and the legend Jason ARNTZ, and me, John Livy, your host, who puts all this shit together. What's up, fellas?
Charlie's licking his
oh yeah, he's licking his balls.
Old balls. They're not there anymore, but he's trying to still get a piece.
Oh yeah, my dog too. He doesn't have any balls anymore. I had to get that shit snipped. Like he was like twice he dropped sperm bombs in the house. I was like, all right, I gotta get this dog fucking fixed. And
wow.
we finally did. I got a bulldog, and this thing was just, I don't know. I was one time I cleaned it up. I literally was like, that is not pee.
Man.
Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about, but I want to get rid of the elephant in the room first. So I did go to the porn convention. In Jersey. So John, I don't know if you know, but I have another channel, and it's called Serious and Silliness Outcast. So it's basically I try to interview people that don't fit well into society. So former mob guys, biker guys, porno chicks, porno guys. I had a former Ku Klux Klansman on. I've had all kinds of crazy people on, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good channel, but it's
sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's really chock filled with wonderful people. But so I went to the porn convention because it's like 20. It's in Raritan, New Jersey, right? So it's called Exotica. So I went, and the first thing you got to get over is because there are people that go there, and it's they think it's like a cosplay thing, like they dress up in like skimpy outfits, like it's Comic-Con. But the problem with I don't know if you're into this kind of thing, but a lot of them, there's this body positivity shit going on, and these these girls are
they're empowered.
They are. Yeah, you ain't kidding. They are. I don't even. Half the outfits I couldn't see because their stomachs covered it. They had you have to lift it up. Yeah, it was really, really bad. So you got to get past that. Then you got to get past the trainees. All right, because and they're not even trying, dude. It's a guy with a wig and lipstick. It's like us with a wig and lipstick, right? And it's like you're not even trying, bro. And the other thing you got to get used to is the whole place stinks like plastic because they're selling so many sex toys that the whole place smells like plastic. Like by the time I left there, I had a headache from the plastic stink. And then they actually serve food there. I'm like, who's eating at this place?
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing there.
I'm working, son. I'm there working.
Oh, Phil, he's a regular there. They know him by name.
And I'm filing all the other stuff in my mental Rolodex.
He parks right up front, and they let him right in the front door.
Oh, do you know they actually wouldn't let me in right away? They thought I was a guy that got thrown out the night before.
Oh, you were. Oh,
yeah.
You were. And sneak back in.
So I had to show the guy the ID, and I was like, he's like, oh yeah, he's not you. Somebody to look just like you. And then they let me in for free because they thought they were hassling me. So they let me in for free. So my whole weekend was the Olympia and
porn.
Porn. Yeah. It was
That's a good mix.
Which is not, depending on your age group, it's not a bad weekend.
Yeah, really. Tell me about it. But
not too bad of a weekend.
No, it was something to see. Anyway, all right. It was pretty. I actually got one girl coming on because it's like you're a salesman, right? I'm hitting all the boots with all the girls. Look, and my porn IQ is down to the ones that I fucking to, right? So I'm just picking the girls I know, right? Like the big titty girls. It's all I only know the big titty girls and the big booty girls. Like the skinny chicks, I don't know. So I'm hitting all of them, and I must have got 10 emails, 10 numbers, so they got be on my podcast. I got one out of the 10. I got one person coming on next week. Anyway, hold on. All right. So this weekend was the Olympia, and my while I was watching it, first of all, I was, I did a rant on the $75 thing, and basically it's almost doesn't pay for it because like a minute later it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, it's like literally, but anyway, I loved it. I thought the Olympia was incredible this year. I thought the talent was incredible. I thought the 212, nobody thought Clarita was going to lose. And I thought that the top three at the Olympia was fantastic. But then it's surrounded by all this controversy now. But I want to go to Phil there because you actually competed there. So you have the most up close and personal knowledge. But what did you wind up placing? I know you didn't break the top 10. But what did you wind up placing?
16th.
16th? Who came? Because it was 17 guys. Who came in behind you?
One didn't show back up. One was a no-show.
Really?
Didn't finish here.
Who was it? Do you know?
Ross Flanagan.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was a dehydration issue.
Wow.
It's kind of tough. It's a 2-show event, man. It was hard for me to even come back Saturday, honestly. So
yeah, it's too nice.
It's our first time there, so we're not really adjusted to that. But I mean, Phil Heath was even talking. He doesn't like the 2-day. It's very tough to peak. You know, what I mean, dehydrate peak, then dehydrate peak for another 24 hours. It is rough, and it took an impact on me Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday I was fine, but Saturday it did affect.
Wow. Yeah, that's rough. Well, all three of you guys all four of us have been in the Olympia, but I'm the only one who hasn't been in it. But was it the same way with you, John? Did you go to the Olympia once or twice?
I've been, I think, 3 or 4 times now.
Competed 3 or 4 times in the Olympia, really?
And
okay.
Every time is the same thing. It's hard. It's definitely a rough weekend.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Arns, when you were in the Olympia, when they parted the Red Sea, it was the same thing?
Yeah, my first year, it was not. The first year, they had it all at once. So they actually did, because it was the first year of the 202s. So they ran it at the expo. They didn't even have us at the big theaters. They were still getting their feet wet, figuring out whether this was going to be a thing. So they showed at the expo, and we went right into the finals, literally like an hour later. So they got us out of the way, which in a sense was good. The next year we had the prejudging. I believe that was Saturday morning, and they did the finals Saturday night. And we went to the main stage. And then the 2 years after that I did it, it was both on the main stage, which was I don't mind the 2-day prep, actually. I was used to that. All the years I did the Nationals, I think I did the Nationals 4 years. It was that way. I did the USA 2 years. It was that way.
Really?
I kind of like it better almost because it allows you to, you peak for that one night for Friday night, but then you could drink a little bit and then dehydrate again. You have 24 hours to drink. And obviously you're not going to start chugging 3-4 gallons of water, but you're going to take enough to replenish. And if you were a little off, you could try to fix your peak a little better or maintain. If you were spot on, you got to maintain it. Phil's right, dude. It's not an easy task. But I did like it better because it's harder, by Saturday morning. If you're not right on, there's only a few things you could do with 6-7 hours and try to make yourself better for the night show, which it is possible. But to give yourself 24 hours, you could do a lot more with, and you get a nice break. You could shower, you can get that shit off you. You put it back on the next day, and get the panic stuff. So I did like it better, but I think the problem with it this year was that the men's prejudging didn't start till almost 11 o'clock at night, Phil?
10:30.
Yeah, 10:30.
10:30.
That was the problem. 10:30.
Yeah, so they're giving awards out. I believe they even finished up the 212s.
Yeah, they did.
With their awards, but before you even got to do the prejudging, right, Phil?
Yeah, the 212s is completely done before we go.
So they could have handled that a lot better. They could have catered to the athletes a little bit better and get these fucking guys off stage and let them go back to their rooms.
Right.
You can do the awards later. Nobody's leaving. They want to see the awards. People are waiting around. But let the athletes get in a timely manner, and then let them go do their shit and peak for tomorrow night.
You would think they would have learned from last year, because last year was a shit show too, but it was in Vegas and the time. But for some reason, they don't. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
It's about the same time if you look at it. I think Vegas is a little ahead of us because we got on 10. They said it was about 12 o'clock. It would have been in Vegas. that they got on last year. But nobody can explain it even better. Phil Heath, he knocked it on the tee because he took me to the side. He spoke to me for like at least 3 minutes because I actually cut through the line. His line was long, so I went around and cut through the line. And because he was a commentator and he was just giving me some critiques and saying I did very, very good for my first Olympia. He said 2 days is very hard. That's why he decided not to come back. But the time, your body wants to sleep at a certain time. You're putting us on stage at 10:30 at night. Cortisol is definitely going to go up. Everybody was somewhat off Friday night. Everybody was a little off. Andrew Jack, he really wasn't himself.
Yeah, you're
Andrew
right about
wasn't
that.
really
I'd say
himself.
even
You
a
could
little.
tell.
I'd say even a little more than a little off, Phil. And look, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to be political.
No,
Yeah.
don't. I mean, you're an athlete, dude. Speak your mind.
Yeah, but yeah,
they were.
they were off and they were struggling. Andrew wasn't himself though Friday and Saturday. I don't know what could have been going on. He just wasn't his old self.
You mean in personality wise, or?
Yeah, he was a little.
Oh,
I don't know.
really?
He was a little on the down end. And Samson, obviously, he just started sweating a little bit.
I did see that. I did notice that.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm just saying. It's just the adjustments with everything, with the water and controlling the water and all that mess. For my show, it was very difficult, but I learned my lesson. But I did make it. I did finish. I honestly wasn't going to finish. I woke up and my body went. I woke up and I was good. And around 1:30, 1:45, I don't know what happened. My body went to everything just dropped and went flat because I need water. I can't cut water. And we were sipping water, and then I guess Blue wanted me to drink more water, but I don't want to because I'm nervous if I drink more water. But with me throughout my shows, all my coaches really never can cut water because for some reason, I would deplete really fast. No matter if I eat 1,300 carbs throughout the day, each day. That Saturday, I don't know what happened. It could have been nerves too, but we were able to fix it and go back on and finish. I had to finish. I didn't want to not finish. So
yeah, of course. John, well, give us your experience when you've been at the Olympia. You experienced the same thing as Phil, or you're like more like Jay, where you were cool with the 2 days?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a tough weekend for sure. Like as an athlete, again, the timing of, I think when I competed, it was the same thing. I think we didn't get off stage until midnight, I think, on prejudging. So the timing of it is rough. And then having to maintain that condition, again, it's obvious none of us are up normally. I mean, I'm tired right now. I would be going to get ready to get in bed right now. So none of us are up. I mean, I was never up.
Trying to make me feel guilty and shit, John.
Oh, no. I know what he's saying.
But
yeah, we're not made. Bodybuilders, we're not made to be up because we're so trained to get up early in the morning for cardio and go to bed.
Yeah.
So who's up at midnight? It's just or 10:30, 11 o'clock. We're getting ready to wind down. So
right.
It was rough on that end, and then having to deplete and dehydrate and all that over 48 hours is tough. But it was never like brutal enough that I wouldn't do it again. I mean, it was tough, but it was doable,
Phil, all in all, was it worth it being on that stage?
Oh, I enjoyed myself. I meet the fans. That was the best part of meeting the fans and stuff like that. The athletes meeting, we were all cracking up because it was like 4 of us. That was 4 or 5 of us was our first time there. So we're all cracking up in athletes meeting. It was a humbling experience, very, very humbling experience. I enjoyed myself. I just wish they moved us around a little bit, regardless if they put me in the third call. I'll still move us around. We made it. Just make us look like we deserve to be there instead of just pushing us off to the side. That was my only complaint. Other than that, I enjoyed myself. I had a ball.
Well,
I think you did a great job. The production value, I think, is way better this year. The lighting can still be better, but I think everything else is really they did a great job.
It seemed like they put a lot of money and effort into the production value. But yeah, Phil, no, I agree with you. I mean, first of all, it's the Olympia and 17 and the other thing, there's only 17 guys. It wasn't like last year where it was close to 40 guys. It was like 36 guys last year. So you could at least give everybody their time and move them around and so on and so forth, especially when you get down to the third call out and so on. Yeah, I fully agree with you. I mean, I don't know. You guys know better than me, but I am under the impression that the Arnold seems to be run a little bit better than the Olympia. It just seems like they have their shit together a little bit more. Am I right? Am I accurate or no?
I never been to Arnold, so when I physically watch it on TV, yeah, it does look.
Yeah, so it looks like to me. Because the whole idea of making, go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
I think they run pretty similarly. They're not, the difference
really?
is that at the Arnold, you're competing in the middle of the day.
Okay. All right. So I mean that's big though, competing in the middle of the
Yeah,
day.
no, for sure. For the athletism.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I did the Arnold. I did the Arnold twice. I believe. Shit, I believe it was 2 days also.
Yeah.
But they got us done early, dude. And back, I think that was 2000 and 2001. I did the Arnold, and dude, Columbus shuts down at like 9 o'clock. So if you're not fucking restaurant, you want to go eat after the show, everything's fucking closed. Like holy shit, everything's shut down. Like they don't mess around. So we were probably done by 8:30. But the Arnold was run. But my experiences at the Olympia were pretty good. But we didn't have the classic and the physique and the this. It wasn't a a spectacle like it is now with the different divisions and
the Arnold cuts a lot of classes out. The Olympia's got them all. The Arnold cuts a lot out. He cuts women's bodybuilding. He cut
I think 212 wasn't in there.
212 he cut. I mean, he included slapping contests, so that's a plus. But anyway,
that's at the expo. That's not.
So Phil, I want to go to you a lot because you were there. Let's start with the top three guys, because from what I could see, it was really close. From what I could tell, it was pretty close. At first, I thought I had Hadi picked because of his conditioning, but then when I kept looking at the pictures and going back and forth to Hadi and Derek, and I'm like, I could see why they picked Derek now. But if they would have given it to Hadi, I wouldn't have complained. If they would have given it to Samson, I wouldn't have complained, right? Because you could make an argument for all three. Samson was the most complete. Hadi was the hardest. Derek's back shots were fucking lights out. So what was your take on it? Because you were up close and personal with these guys.
I'm really good friends with Derek Ludford. Really good friends with him, his wife, my wife. Derek looked amazing. He looked really good. Yes, his back shots. Nobody was beating him from the back.
No.
But if I want to be personally honest, Hadi Choopan got it from the front shots and the side shots. I swayed. I was for Derek, but then I swayed towards the end that Hadi Choopan looked. His side tricep and midsection was so flat as a board, man. You know what I mean? The back shots, yes. And they both put up a good battle. They both made good improvements. Derek's improvements was ridiculous. But as sad as it is, I just firmly believe Hadi did pull it out.
What do you think, John? But you think that it's the improvements that made it? Because I mean, obviously Derek's improvements were amazing. But when I first looked at it, when I first did the review, I was looking at the side shots, and at first I was giving it to Hadi, but then I kept looking, and I'm like, but the side shots, the lower half, Derek had it. His legs and his glutes and his hamstrings were insane. So it was kind of like I was like, if it's that close, maybe okay. What do you think, John?
I mean, same thing. I was sitting there and watching it live in person, and I think no one came close to Derek from the rear shots, the rear lat spread, the rear double. He was incredible. Probably some of the best rear double body shots I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It was insane.
But from the front shots, it was the bodybuilder in me is like looking at the gnarly muscle that Hadi has across the chest and shoulders, and all the just billowing muscle bellies. Derek doesn't have that yet, the muscle maturity. So I can see why they chose Derek, because he was in beautiful shape, plenty of muscle. But for me, the only poses that were like lights out for him was the rear double and the rear lat spread. The front double to me could have went any way.
That's right.
I thought Hadi looked great in the front double. The side chest, Derek's lower half was better,
right?
But Hadi's upper half was better,
right?
So I was happy with the result. I mean, I'm really happy for Derek. I think Hadi being just because if we're being real, Hadi was a little bit more off than he normally is. He wasn't as quite as sharp. So I think it just, you know, he kind of left the door open if you're really looking at it. I don't have Samson in the running. I mean, I had him in third. I had him in third, but I had him in third.
So did I.
Very clear Hadi and Derek.
Yeah. So did I. But so Jay, when it's that close, I am under the impression that when it's that close, things like presentation matter, color matters, individual posing matters. Do those things come into play when it's that close between Hadi and Derek?
Well, see, there's two ways to look at it. There's, it's not sectioned in the scorecards, presentation and color. Right. It's what shocks you when you see them. It's what is more attractive, what brings your eyes to look at more, what's more distracting. Hadi's color seemed a little not what I mean, he used to have like great color, and I mean he still had that dense muscle and muscle maturity. And dude, like I saw the scorecard. Derek got a 7, in prejudging, which means 2 people had him in second place out of the 5 scores that counted. They dropped 2 highs and 2 lows, so that leaves 5 scores. He got a 7, so that means he had 3 first place votes and 2 second place votes.
Yeah.
So it was close. I actually thought it was closer for Hadi in prejudging, because I thought they all looked so shitty in prejudging.
Right.
They really did, but I thought Hadi looked the best.
Yeah.
But I thought Derek really sharpened up for the finals. And I don't know who said it, but I know we've all heard it. Bodybuilding shows are one from the back, or Mr. Olympias are one from the, and I don't even, that's not on the scorecards either,
Right.
But it sits in people's mind. It resonates in people's mind. So when they look at somebody who's going to be a Mr. Olympia, you got to have a fucking back.
Yeah.
So if it's close from the, and this is just my opinion, but if it's close from the front, which I do agree with everybody here, that Hadi won the front shots. I thought Derek won. I thought Derek won the side shots just because it was prettier. Okay, and that's just my opinion. You can have 5 other judges on a different night, and they like Hadi's look.
Yeah,
it's so. And Derek, smoked him from the rear. Samson was a distant third, I thought.
Yeah.
He's still, but he could be there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The only knock with Samson is basically it's not even his real lat spread. It's his rear double by. For some reason, for some reason. I mean, it's number 3 in the world. But when you put him up against Hadi and Derek, it's exposed, right? So I think that was the shot that really put him in third.
Yeah, see.
But I was thinking they might, because they gave the 212 to Keon, and Clarita was clearly more conditioned, but Keon was just prettier. So if you're going to look at that, then Samson's got the prettier physique out of the 3, right?
But Samson was not dry enough. Samson, he comes in the same conditioning. He's got to dial that in a little better.
Yeah.
But one thing that I could say that really bothered me, I've never seen so many spots for sight enhancement in a lineup before, and that's what's really distracting. So
do you think it's sight enhancement, or you think it's just injection spots?
It's injection spots.
Okay, good.
They come to a head, so
that's
it
what I
looks like
thought.
they're inflamed.
Right.
So the thing is, and what I don't like, okay, and we've talked about it, and you guys might not agree, and you could fuck out the old guy with his 90s and 2000 bodybuilder, but there is a different look nowadays than back then, and John, you trained with Victor for years, okay, and I trained with Victor for a short time, and I used to go to his gym, but the guy's muscle back then was pliable. it
Right.
moved. These
Agreed.
guys are so grossly enhanced now that they
Yeah.
don't look any different from a front standing relax shot to a front lat spread to a front most muscular. It's like
Agreed.
these just big physiques and muscle. It's just so enhanced that it's not moving. You don't see the striations. You don't see the flow, you know, and it's lost its athletic look that a lot of those guys from those times had, which to me is much more appealing. That's why Keon beat Sean Clarita.
Yeah.
It's a prettier look. His muscle moves. And I think once you listen to that and you watch it, then you get an idea of what it really means for people who don't understand it. But Sean, another, he's a fucking freak, dude. He comes out and it's just big shit everywhere. And, you know, and he moves and it's just lumps of fucking muscle everywhere. And until somebody steps in and brings a prettier physique, which I think Sampson could do, it's why I like Regan Grimes. These guys have nice physiques and the muscle still, it still moves. It's pliable. You know, it's not, it looks, everybody looks so tight. Like there's no movement in the muscle cells.
Let's go to Phil. Let's go to Phil for that one, because Phil is the exact athlete that you're talking about. What's your take on it, Phil?
Everything he said is spot on. I'm firmly against it. I see it on some of the athletes. I'm firmly against it. Clarita, listen, he was winning even with that structure. I think his big mistake was he's trying to push more weight on that little frame.
I agree. Yes,
if he would have came in like he looked last year,
right,
I think
agree.
he would have retained his title.
Yeah.
He had issues with his stomach, really bad, like it was bad. And he just looked like a tick. I hate to say it that way. I apologize, Sean. He's a great guy, but it just looked like he was ready to explode. Just like I don't know. He can't play. You know, Jay Cutler couldn't say it any better. We understand it's the Olympia. Everybody's trying to be the best. He did it himself, putting on sides, and he wish he would have stayed the way he looked when he had that shape and that beautiful structure.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes into when the battle and the size and the craziness. Like when I saw you, Delarosa, compete, I think you won your first show. That's me. I think that it was very tight in Tampa because I physically was sitting there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was right in front row. I came because Tim gave me and Patty VIP tickets, and I said I gotta go see Delarosa. He's from Florida, and I you know also. I want to see Labrada because I'm really good friends with Labrada too. And I wanted to see you guys battle it out. Yeah. And that was really, really close as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for you coming back from being gone that long, I was blown away. You were freaking impressive.
Yeah, you look good this year. The two shows you did, right? You did two shows this year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I did Chicago and Tampa.
The two shows you did, you really did. You brought
I
in
had
a
him winning in
package.
Chicago. I had him winning in Chicago.
Who won in Chicago?
Hold on. And Phil, why?
Because he just has just a beautiful physique, Delarosa.
But he still has that flow, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that John, you and Victor had that. You guys are from that time. Victor's a little older, obviously.
Yeah.
But you both have those, not to use the word classic, but fucking pretty physiques. Yeah. And your muscle density is there, your size is there, and it still flows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we used to get worked on by John Pena. You know, John.
That's absolutely.
He would grind that shit out of you until your muscle was pliable. Yeah. A neuromuscular massage, which we used to do weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. And dude, this shit works. You know, you don't look like you're a fucking balloon on stage where you're gonna pop, just like Phil said.
Yep.
John, who won in Chicago?
Justin Shire.
Oh,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, he looked good too. I mean, he caught a lot of flack too, but
he didn't beat you. He didn't beat you from the back. He didn't beat you from the back. He did look good, but he didn't beat you from the back.
Yeah, I know. He wasn't quite on for the back shots, and still he's got an incredible structure, and the judges they chose him. That's the thing about this sport. I think as I've gotten older, I've been competing such a long time now. I just kind of accept that, like, it's not always going to go your way, you know. Like, it literally the 5 judges that judged that day, you could have switched them out and put another 5 judges in, and I might have won with the same lineup. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I felt bad that Justin was catching so much flack for it. He looked great, and look, he did the Olympia. He looked great at the Olympia this year too.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody's catching more flack than Lunsford right now. We might as well jump into that.
The thing is too, it's unfair because this guy didn't judge himself. You know,
Yeah,
that's what's really
yeah.
irritating me. They're going after him and his family, but yet
Right.
that wasn't his call. Go after the people that made that call, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like people take it so personal and like, yeah, it's a sport, but at the end of the day, like I got messaged by someone, do you think Hadi won it? And I could tell just by the way that they were approaching me, like they wanted me to say, yeah, Hadi won.
right.
And if I had said no, I think Derek should have won it, it would have been like a whole argument. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you just change the judging panel, Hadi might have won.
He might have went the other way. Right.
Yeah.
There's no reason to take it so personal.
And
You
it
know what's
wasn't
crazy?
yeah.
It's everywhere.
Oh,
Yesterday,
yeah.
I stopped in a Chinese restaurant just to pick up some shrimp fried rice, and there's an argument in the chair, and then they look over at me, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And they're like, "You look like a bodybuilder." I said,
Really?
"Yes, I competed in Olympia." Yes, and then I said, "Listen, guys, I don't want to get caught up in this conversation. You know, what I mean, it is what it is. I know who I believe won. I want to leave it there because these guys are battling, dude, in the freaking Chinese restaurant, and they're just regular people. You know what I'm saying? But the whole world is going at it.
See, that's good for the sport, right?
Yeah.
But what's not good is these people coming out of the woodwork threatening Derek, threatening his family, threatening his unborn child, which is the most disgusting behavior. I mean, everybody needs to relax. It's bodybuilding. Chill out. There's got to be a winner and a loser. Now, since we're going down that path, I want to ask you. I have my opinion. I'll state my opinion. Hadi made a statement the next day, but he didn't. He basically said that he was ashamed that he lost, that he let his people down, so on and so forth. He didn't apologize. I'm not sure if he congratulated. Kamali was on RX Muscle, and Kamali's a class act, and he actually apologized to Derek for the Iranian people that are saying these things. And he said that not all Iranian people are like that. These are just the crazies that are coming after you, and so on and so forth. I am under the impression that Hadi should have said something. Hadi should have said, hey, guys, look, let's back off with the threatening and so on and so forth. It's bodybuilding. We'll get him next year, congratulate him, and let's move on. But that didn't happen. What's your impression? Let's go to, I don't know, Jay, what do you think?
I think Hadi didn't do a lot of things he should have done. First was the way he exited the stage.
Right.
And look, dude, Derek took second to you last year. Derek didn't walk off. I'm sure he was heartbroken too.
Yeah.
And Hadi's lost before, so it's not like his first time losing. But it's something you just don't do. He didn't really apologize. He said he made good. He hugged Derek. They filmed the video the next day or whatever.
Dude, they didn't even look at each other. Did you see the video? They did not even look at each other.
was talking,
Yeah. But that's one thing. So he could have, apologized to the IFBB and the judges and the fans.
So he could have took advantage of the camera right there. And
dude, he's Mr. Olympia, dude. You can get a camera on you at any minute, and even if you don't, you got 2-point-something million followers, or whatever he has. You can make a statement, and he hasn't. So that's one thing. Another one is not addressing the people of Iran and say, hey, look, guys, I lost. Whether I want to believe it or accept it, you fucking lost, dude. Sometimes, you have to admit that and move forward, and you'll gain more support. It's like, you lost the election, dude. You gotta fucking move on.
Yeah.
But dude, it's fucking 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No, but whether you want to accept it or not, dude, you didn't go your way.
Right.
You're not dead in the water. You have a whole other year. There's a million other. Come back stronger, and fucking prove your point. But when you turn it political,
right,
and you just open that fucking door for all this shit. And dude, right now there's a lot of shit.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so what he, as an ambassador to the sport and a former Mr. Olympia, you know, winner, he could have really taken an opportunity and put an end to all of it, and he didn't.
Yeah, John, take it from there. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I don't know what Hadi's plans are. I don't know if he plans on addressing the people of Iran and, you know, whoever's making these death threats to Derek. I think it's certainly the right thing to do. But, you know, as far as like walking off stage and stuff, like, I think I don't get pulled into the hype and the drama and the bullshit, you know. I look at things for what they are. Hadi's got hearing issues. I don't know if any of you guys know that. So I was there. He did get his medal. He hugged Derek.
He did hug him. Yes.
They took a photo, and normally after you take a photo, everyone exits the stage, and Mr. Olympia stays alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on, John. I agree. And I don't think he stormed off abruptly, where it didn't look like it was with malice or you know, ill will. Right. However, Bob's section to him, they talked to people back.
That's right.
Apparently backstage,
Bob Ciccarello was telling him to go back on stage.
And dude, you're the only one leaving.
Yeah.
Nobody else is leaving, and everybody's looking at you. And they told him backstage, you need to go back on for more pictures. He goes, no, I'm fucking done.
That's yeah. I heard the same.
Well, thing. Hold on. So this is what I mean about getting caught up in the bullshit. He doesn't even speak English. So how does he know what the fuck Bob is telling him?
So like, what's Hani Ramrod's role at that point then? Because he speaks both languages.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if it was conveyed to him that he needed to get back on stage.
Because if it wasn't, then then Hani's role should have been to translate and been like, get your ass out.
I doubt it happened in that quick of a time period, right? Like from him walking off stage to getting backstage was a couple of seconds.
Okay, but hold on. Yeah. So if he doesn't speak English, he understands the expediters when they're telling him to get on stage to compete. He knows.
No, he follows. No,
when they're waving, you gotta go on.
He follows. I watch him. He follows because I remember Steve yelled at him, and then Steve said, "I know you can read lips," which I didn't think he should have said it like that. But
did he really say that?
Yeah, he said that. He really can. If you watch Hadi, he looks at the bodybuilders, then he poses.
Really?
He knows the mandatory stuff, but he really don't really understand. And when they were stepping up, he wouldn't step back because he couldn't understand. And then Steve was like, you know, step back. I know you could read lips, Hadi. And I was back there, I was like, oh shit, I wouldn't have said it like that. But
right, so if you want to give him a pass walking off stage with the medal, we can give him a pass, but you can't give him a pass.
I hate the way social media, whatever the fuck you want to call this shit.
Yeah. Just
takes like a snippet. Like if you look on social media, they literally just have the snippet of him taking off his medal and storming off.
Oh, you're right. He did hug him, and when I did my review, I showed him hugging him and congratulating him. I did.
Yeah, like it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
He does not speak English, so you know, I love Bob, but it doesn't matter if Bob is telling him, hey, get back on stage. He doesn't know what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, and John's right. And John is absolutely right. And like I said, it didn't look like he was doing it with anger. He hugged Derek. He took, you know, this and he didn't even take his medal off. And so when I first heard it, I was like, oh, they're fucking blowing this out of proportion, you know. And I thought the same thing. However, it has been a couple days, and I feel as if he was misrepresented, he could have taken the opportunity to clear the air, and he didn't.
Right.
And that's my problem with the whole thing. Like I was getting to, it's not that he did all that. Like I don't listen to all the bullshit. What he should do is get on whatever platform he can and straighten out what happened, because I don't believe that he did it to be a dickhead. I don't think that's what he did.
Yeah.
I think he just really didn't know. Like they went through the motions. They took the picture. I've competed a ton of times. Once you take that picture with everyone lined up, you exit stage, and you leave the winner there so they can take their pictures. So I think that's truly what happened. I think we need to address Derek, the threats to Derek, and straighten out what happened. And you know,
I think if you give him some more time, I think he's going to. Yeah. Look at Big Romney. When he didn't show up in Pittsburgh, how long did it take him to finally talk and make a video? It didn't happen right away.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what I think happens with guys like Big Ramy and Egypt and Hadi and Iran. I think they have very biased people around them. Because I mean, Hadi in Iran is an A-list celebrity, and he has a bunch of yes people around him, and I think it takes some time before it actually gets into your head where you should do something like Phil said about Rami. And I think that's what one of the problems is. He doesn't have somebody saying, Hani Ramrod should be the guy saying, hey, look, dude, you lost, you got to do this. But I think he's got a bunch of. He also, we don't know him very well because he doesn't speak the language very well. He hasn't been able to travel, so we don't know him as a person very well. He might be very hard headed. He might have a head like concrete. We don't know.
But I've had interactions with him, and he's always been a pretty kind guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. But he should at least address the problems happening with Derek, because they are teammates. Me and Jay spoke about this once before, and I'm going to bring it up to Phil. They're both trained by the same guy, and this is like kind of a strange situation where they're both trained by the same guy, and they're on the same team. They're part of the same company, but they're competitors, and now they're like vicious competitors. One guy won last year, one guy won this year. How do you deal with that? I would, as an athlete, I would not want that to happen. I would want us versus them, and that's it. I would not want to have the guy, my direct competition. The next day, I gotta do a photo shoot with him for EvoGen. I mean, Phil, what do you think? I would rather have it.
It's me as a competitive bodybuilder. It would be hard to be in that position. I mean, I even say something on the patty when I look at how in the beginning Milos, when he was blowing Regan up, and he really wasn't even concerned with Samson 2 years ago. Everything is Regan.
Right.
I'm like, shit, man, if that was me, I don't think I can handle that well, because then I'm going to think, I mean, is he doing something different with this guy? Less attention with me? All that times, especially when you lose, now that's running in your head, even though it's not an issue with Hadi and Derek. But I'm just saying that's now runs in your head now, because you have the same coach. The only thing now could happen possibly, which I don't think it's going to, because they've been together so long, is you start saying, well, should I stay with this coach? I mean, is this going to happen again next year? Just a lot of things that the athletes go through your head. Me, it would be very hard. It would be very hard for me to be with an A-listing coach, and he has 2 or 3 great athletes he's coaching together. It would be hard.
What do you think, John? Would you be able to handle that? Because I wouldn't be able to handle
that.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I look at the sport of bodybuilding. I mean, you guys know I've been doing this for a long time. Flex, chill, bro. My dog wants to go out.
He's letting you know too.
Yeah, he's growling. I look at it differently. I mean, we are competitive athletes, right? We're competing against one another. But at the end of the day, like, you can't worry about the next man. You got to do what you have to do,
right,
to the best of your ability. Because it doesn't matter if Derek and Hadi on the same team. If they're worried about one another, then they're not going to be their best.
Right.
You got to stay on your grind. You got to stay on your thing and not worry about what the next man is doing. You got to be your best. And if he's on the same team as you, what does it matter? Like, I don't think Hani is picking and choosing an athlete over the other. I don't think he's doing that.
He might not be, but like Phil said, you might perceive it as if he is, because especially if you come in second. Look, do you remember when it was
still, like, you got to worry about what you're doing. You got to bring your best in.
When it was Phil and Hani and Kai and George, it was us against them, right? It was you didn't have to deal with that shit. It was us against them. That's it. And it was never on the level of you guys, and not even close. But I would want it like that. I wouldn't want this uncomfortable thought process, especially when I have to peak for the Olympia, for Christ's sake.
Right.
And now the next day when they went to do that video with Hani and EvoGen, didn't even look at each other. I mean, it was ridiculous. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Jay?
That's why I did my own thing, dude. I don't want to get caught up in that shit, like, because we're athletes, we all have our own insecurities, and we all,
I get that.
We're all here for the same reason. Hey, does he like this guy better than me? Is he going to hang on him because, he won last year and maybe I didn't, so all those thoughts go through your head. So, But again, if you have enough confidence in yourself, you know, and like obviously Derek and Hadi did,
Yeah.
they had no problem with it. Well, Hadi probably thought he was going to come in. I mean, and I don't know Hadi, but based upon how he handled it, he thought he deserved to win it, which he could have. He very
a lot of people thought he deserved to win.
Yeah. So, so now moving forward, you know, we'll see if it's a problem for him for next year. You know, obviously Derek has no problem with it because he won. You know, so
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
right. So I don't think it would affect Derek as much this year as it would for Hadi. Just like it didn't affect Hadi last year because he was the reigning champion.
Right.
Another problem I see is they're both kind of tied to him because they have contracts with Evogen, and he owns Evogen, right?
Yeah.
How that's another issue. I want that separate as well, because if I want to dump my trainer, I want to be able to know I could dump my trainer, right?
Well, dude, they don't have. I mean, Nick Walker
I think with
still
Hadi,
trains
you have to sign.
with Matt Jensen. He's not with Raw anymore.
Yeah, but with Hadi, you have to sign with his. You have to sign with his company. The top athletes. Only person I think don't really do it is Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead. I mean,
Yeah, right.
He's the only one I think isn't locked in to anything. But it's like a mandatory thing. The top elite athletes, for him to work with you, you have to be part of the Evogen. Yeah.
Yeah, that would, you know, how ironclad are those contracts? Because let's say either Hadi or Derek wants to get out of it because of they don't want to go through next year what they went through this year. How ironclad are those contracts?
They probably could if they really want. I don't think Hani. I don't know Hani that well, so
Depends on your lawyer.
Yeah, might be too much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Let's move down to somebody that nobody's talking about is Hunter. I did not see many major improvements in Hunter. And you know, we've had Hunter on and you know, he's a great athlete, but I don't see him making the necessary improvements, or can he make the necessary improvements to finally break into the top 5 like he should. What do you guys think? What do you think, Jay?
Dude, this was not a good night for Hunter Labrada. Not a good weekend for Hunter Labrada. You know, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what he's doing. If it's the stress of it, but his physique.
Something's off. Yes, something's off with his physique.
He's progressively, you know, he showed a spark, you know, for that one show.
Right.
And you would think it would continue, and it's been progressively getting worse. So I think he really needs to come to terms with who he works with and what he's doing. Or, dude, it could just be, look, you know, we see these guys and these athletes all the time, and we look at them and we see them repetitively come in shape after shape and look good. And dude, just because you're one of these top guys, it's fucking hard. It's not easy to do. And maybe his body.
Well, I mean, he was at it for 32 weeks. I was with him the night before prejudging, and he told me he was just exhausted. Like he'd been dieting
32 weeks. He went on vacation with his wife after what was the show that he lost to?
I'm sure he took a few days off, but getting right back on it, you know, for 32 weeks just staying on a diet's rough.
Yeah, he did he did Tampa, Texas, and he did Olympia. I started dieting March. I dieted for eight months. You know, it's tough.
That's tough.
It's definitely. But he did. I remember he did take a couple of weeks. Where was he? I forgot where he went with his wife. Somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
He probably should have never did. He probably should have never did that. I mean, getting ready. You know what I mean? I don't know. When you know what I mean? Especially the Middle East, flying, you're dieting.
I don't travel. Bro.
Yeah, there you go. Remember we talked about it, Jay. He was on a yacht with his wife.
He went to Dubai. Wasn't it Dubai?
I think so. Yeah, he guest posed and they went on a vacation.
I don't. It's hard for me to, you know, use the "I've been dieting all year" excuse just because I've done it and I know. Yeah. But I know, and you do too, John. We've known people that have done it like for years.
Yeah.
Milos, you know, I mean, the guys in those, you know, we did it.
Yeah.
but he's young enough, and he's coming off where he just competed once last year,
Right.
where this kind of stress, I get it. Like if you're Dexter, dude, it's the end of your career. But if Dexter was in shape, there's nothing wrong with the diet. The diet's fine. You're eating a healthy, well-balanced diet. It's the last couple of weeks that becomes stressful. But I think there's more to it than that. Like his body just is not holding on or is rejecting some of the things that he's doing, and it's causing a softer, more water retentive look. I mean, his glutes look soft, his muscles looked
midsection.
bushy. He lacked a lot of the signature definition that he normally has, even when he's off. So I just, and I'm a fan of his, dude. I hate to sound like I'm always shitting on the guy, because I really am a fan of his, and I want him to do well, and I think he can do well, but he's got to figure something out.
Yeah.
One more Olympia question, then we'll change the tune. This one everybody's talking about. It's been all over Instagram. How would Nick Walker do if he made it to the Olympia this year?
What a weekend to miss for him, dude.
I agree with Phil 100%. I think he would.
They just had the Olympia thing with Bob Ciccarello, Flex Wheeler, and Sean Ray, and some other big, and they said the same thing. They said it would have been fourth. He would have took fourth.
Yeah, I agree. Unless
I don't know.
Yeah, the idea, because the thing is, the only thing you could go on is his last performance, and his last performance was the Arnold, and Sampson really wasn't too far off from what he looked like at the Arnold. That's the only thing you could go on. We don't know if he would have come in, because Stanimal was saying that he's going to be 10 pounds bigger on this stage, and maybe he could have, maybe it would have, maybe he would have outmuscled everybody, but we don't know. And the only thing we could go on is what his last performance was, and he couldn't beat Sampson, and Sampson was just as good as he was as the Arnold. And I had him in fourth too, But
here's what we do know: the only person that can hang with Derek in the two rear shots that Derek dominates is Nick.
Yes, 100%.
However, also the only person that can hang with Derek from the side shots is Nick. I believe Nick would have lost the front shots to both Hadi and Derek. So
and Sampson. The front. The back,
with what they were giving you, and Sampson being in the condition he was, Nick would have been in a nice spot for third, fighting for second.
You think so? I think, yeah, I think he would
probably would have ended third.
It could have been. Listen, we could say woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really know, and I don't hate to say where someone will place because they weren't in it. Nick was looking damn amazing. He was nailing it from the picture I saw prior to the 6 days of his the hamstring thing. So we'll see. He'll come back stronger and better. Nick is a strong kid, man. He'll come back stronger and better next year, and it'll make it more interesting to see.
Nick is a warrior.
Yes.
Nick is a warrior. Nick is a freak of all freaks, but he has that work ethic and that drive that you're just born with it. It's instinctual. It's not something you could develop. What do you think, John? If he would have been able to make it, where do you think he would have landed?
I haven't really given it any thought, but I guess, he could have landed anywhere between, 3 and 4. I would.
Yeah, we're all on the same page, 3 and 4. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, but just because, I think he has obviously a shit ton of muscle. He brings crazy conditioning. I'm just not. I'm more inclined to lean towards the shape that Hadi or Derek has. Rather than what Nick has. Just my personal preference. Even Sampson, I think I like Sampson's shape better than Nick as well. So I would have had him in the 3-4 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that the guys that like the Hunters and the Andrew Jacks, I'm hoping that they could get whatever they need to get in their offseason done and come back stronger, because they have great potential to possibly move into those spots. But you could see that they need to work on things. But that being said, we'll see. But I think this weekend, is it this weekend or next weekend?
Yes.
Romania Pro,
Sampson
right?
jumped right into that. I don't understand why. Me and Patty's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because
an easy payday, maybe? I don't know.
I would think he did the Arnold, but I did move up the Olympia to October now. So it's a month sooner. I don't know. I don't know that logic of why for 10 grand. I mean, he's gonna. I hate to say it, but I mean, he's gonna. I
Yeah,
can't
he's
say
gonna.
Maybe it's just,
It's
it's just to maybe it's to take the opportunity to understand his body a little bit better and maybe
Okay.
refine that peaking process.
yeah.
Maybe that.
I don't know. But
I mean,
look,
I would take the advantage to do it. It's only a week.
yeah,
And it's
right,
close.
right.
He lives
If
out
you're
there,
not
so
really,
Yeah,
if you're not really nailing it, and you still have to figure out what you need to do, you push it another week and see if you can make the necessary changes for the following year. You take those notes and you apply it the
right.
next.
what
That's
do
what
you
I
think?
would.
What do you think, Jay?
I agree. I think exactly what John just said, that he still needs to figure it out.
Yeah.
And another week wouldn't hurt him.
Here's-
It should be, a walk off,
It should be.
a quarter turn,
Yeah.
like one quarter turn comparison, one compulsory comparison, and
and it's a wrap. And I'm sure it will be. But here's the thing: we get to see Beirut Tabani and how he stacks up against him, because he's because that
Don't
guy's
they got
no
the
joke.
same coach? They have the same coach. Don't
You
they
know,
both have
Milos? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Nathan
right about that.
Diaz is also competing.
Yeah, Nathan Diaz is not going to make it past third.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not
saying
good.
that confidently because I'm a huge fan of Nathan's. I'm actually excited to see how Tabani stacks up against somebody like Sampson, because that poor bastard, like, he deserved to be at the Olympia and he just couldn't get a visa because he's Iranian. And that guy, he won the Arnold Brazil, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he won.
If he
He
won the
also won
Arnold-
that Romania show too.
Yeah, and he's chock full of muscle, great shape, chiseled to the bone. Those Middle Eastern genetics are just unbelievable. The Iranian genetics are unreal. So I would like to see how he stacks up against Sampson and Nathan. And I forgot who else is in it, but those are the three
One
big
more
names.
guy.
Yeah,
Isn't
those are the three.
Presti's in there, but I don't know.
Oh, Andrea Presti. Yeah. How did he do with the Olympia?
He was in third call outs. He was in the middle.
So he's around. So he's with you somewhere in
Yeah,
that.
he was in the
Yeah.
middle.
Goddamn Italian fucking genes. They don't do shit for you. I tell you, you got to be the Dominican, African American, or Iranian. I don't get it. I don't know.
Something's wrong with this guy.
I'm telling you. Speaking of something wrong with me, I got to go get fingerprinted next week because I got filed to get my handgun and shotgun permit, for the house. And in Jersey, you got to get one permit per handgun. Every time you want to get a handgun in Jersey, you got to go get another permit. But shotguns,
I'm sad to hear that.
and I know, and shotguns.
We're all laced up in this house, bro.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah. So but you can have as many rifles and shotguns as you want. But I want to get. You tell me, Phil. What do you think? I want to get like one of those snub nose 38 specials. Like the Barnaby Jones style.
Nobody uses them anymore, John.
What?
Nobody uses them anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Just say 38.
The little
say-
snub nose.
yeah, but
the
just
little
say
short
38.
short joints.
Yeah, fucking going
Just say
ahead.
38.
What are you doing?
He's going to the whole detail. You want to get a 38. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
38s are good carrying guns because you're not ever worried about them.
He's not going to carry. They're not going to let him carry in New Jersey.
No,
Yeah,
but
you
I
can't
just
carry it to the house.
Oh, you guys can't, even if you have a concealed perk? No?
no. If you have it concealed, you can. But it's very. I don't know
how
how
hard it is to get a concealed license to
Jersey.
carry in New Jersey.
I used to live there. I left there a long time ago.
Yeah, no, dude, it's tough.
But they also or snub nose 357 because you could use 38 slugs in there too. The little. I love those little short joint like that. That's like classic Brooklyn street shit right there.
You want a revolver?
This guy is looking for war. He's already like gearing up like somebody's going to come in his house.
You want to? Yeah. Well, I've had visions. You want to hear my vision? I've actually had visions. I'm not kidding either. I have a vision of I had a vision of somebody breaking in my house when I have the 38 snub nose, right? And
you
then
ever fired one?
And then yeah. And then I put on my father's old leather shaft jacket. You know what I mean? Those the old shaft jacket. And then I just come out of nowhere with the gun to his head. And it's just like the last thing that guy hears is, "Who is the man?" Wow.
Too many movies, man. Too many movies.
38 snub nose, Barnaby Jones. Do you remember that show?
Just make sure you shoot these guns before you buy them, man.
Well, that's
Go take a course. Go take a course.
Yeah.
Learn how to handle it.
I go.
get
I will.
comfortable around it.
I fired guns before, but there's a range in Union, STKP, and you could rent whatever gun you want, and you could buy the ammo. You just got to show ID and so on and so forth. So I'm going to probably.
But you want to practice with a gun that you're going to physically have
Go
to
learn, go handle the
hopefully
one you're
not
buying.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so buy it and practice with that gun. So this way, you know.
Yeah. So I wanted a snub nose 38 special.
There you go.
Or 357 snub nose, and I'm gonna see how I like that. My father carried one illegally his whole life.
Well, a lot of people carry them illegally. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
He had it in his briefcase. He had it in his briefcase his entire
It's
life.
just the laws in Jersey is detrimental. So I don't know about that.
Well, we're talking
Up
about
here-
the 80s.
Up here, you don't need a conceal and carry no more now. Up here,
It's just
everybody's carrying.
yeah.
Well,
Everybody's
And I bet you the crime is down to nothing because everybody knows.
It actually gotten better because we had
Yeah.
a lot of incidents. Yep,
you
everybody's
at?
carrying. So you don't know who has a gun, man.
Yeah, right.
Where are you,
So,
Phil?
We're in like Tampa, Florida.
Tampa. Oh yeah. So you. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Florida,
it should be the
you
same.
don't-
Is it the same way over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way.
what
Yep.
about you, Jay? You got any guns in the house?
I got a lot of toys.
Yeah. Okay. Good. right.
Toys.
What do you think? What do you think about the snub nose 38?
Hey,
No,
I mean-
John.
It's not what I would carry, but just I don't know. I like.
Maybe I'm
my
just too.
carry-
I'm thinking. Maybe I'm thinking old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I carry a Glock,
Yeah.
and I have a 19, and I carry a Glock. The
Yeah.
SIGs, the SIGs aren't bad, but they have some issues. Glocks don't. I could drop that thing in water and take it out.
Yeah.
It's still going to shoot. So I want to make sure I got quite a few clips. I don't think 8's going to do it or 6.
Right.
So you need a couple clips.
All
Yeah.
right. What do you carry, John? What do you have over there?
I have a 19, a Glock 19. I carry. It's got a whole bunch of cool stuff on it. 40 slide, barrel, trigger, sight. It's really cool. So I'll carry that, but that one gets cumbersome sometimes. Like it's hard to conceal it. So my usual carry is a SIG P365 XL. I got some stuff done to that too.
Just now, I can't wait till somebody comes to my house and I could creep up on them with that 38 snub nose.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Who is the man? All right, gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on, each and every one of you. Much love, much respect. Always, thank you for joining. And
Yes.
be in touch. We'll do it
Appreciate
again.
you. Great group of guys, man. Great
All right.
Delarosa.
See you
Keep
guys.
pushing, brother. I'll see you. Next year's my last year, so hopefully we can run into each other.
Really?
I'll see you next year. Yeah, next year I'm done. My last year next year. So
What about you, John? Your next
You're
year's your
still
last
young,
year.
man.
I applied for the Arnold, so I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Oh, nice.
Jump in there.
All right, cool.
And if not, I'm gonna probably hit New York or something around that time.
It's about time you win that one.
You should definitely get me
Invite.
yeah, because I don't think Nick's not doing it. He shut it down right away. He said he's not doing it. I don't even think Samson's doing it.
Yeah. Who knows?
I
We'll see.
know. Yeah, so we'll see. I think it's gonna. This one to be a good opportunity to jump into this one.
But if I was Hadi, that's what I would do. I would try my best. To get
It's not
it.
happening.
I didn't think so.
Hadi went back home, bro. He's not.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I think he can only come back for the Olympia. I think
Oh,
that's
really?
the arrangement. I think that's.
Oh
all. He can
God,
come
that
back.
sucks. That whole thing sucks with the Middle East and the visas and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
All right,
Have a-
brother.
We'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, boys.
Take care. Peace.